proposed redesigning of Naira, says Nans. Policy will allow voters elect credible leaders, says Kwara Governor Ahmed. So those are the major headlines on the 4 newspapers we've just reeled out to you. And of course, Franklin, let's talk about this, what's really happening. They want to arrest the CBN governor. At the same time, the House of Representatives is inviting him, and he is not honoring the invitation. And he claims he is on a very important assignment in the United States. And yesterday was the second time he failed to appear before that committee. But the House of Representatives insist that he must appear for questioning. What do you make of this?
I just think the National Assembly should be more concerned about us having a peaceful, free, fair, and credible election than, the monetary policy that they are pursuing if they don't have anything under their sleeves. The central bank governor traveled with the president to US and is yet to be back to the country. They are aware of it. Why do you invite someone who is not in the country? How will you expect him to fly down? Of course, whatever you want him to explain can be explained when he's back. And besides, you don't pick the central bank governor, Emefiele, as central bank. If you want to invite the central bank, if you want the central bank governor to come and explain to you, the policies of the bank, of the central bank policy, he can assign any person to come and explain the policy of the bank. It is not his personal policy. It's not his own policy. It's the policy of the bank.
And the bank is not his own.
And the bank is not his own. So he can assign anyone to go and explain the policy of the bank. But except if you want him in person, you have a personal, you want him to explain something to you, a personal thing to you that is not connected to the policy, then you can now invite him. But I'm not saying, I don't want the National Assembly to look at he's not appearing as a slight on them, which is what they want to paint. If they are inviting him to come and explain the policy of the bank, he could assign anybody of the rank of deputy to go, deputy CBN governor, to go and explain the policy to them. But except they want, like I have repeated again, except I want to repeat, except they want him to come and explain things that are not connected to the policy. That's one. Two, I have said the National Assembly should not hit up the polity. They should rather safeguard policies that will help in bringing a sanitized system. Now, we have all endorsed, Nigerians have endorsed the redesigned Naira note. That policy was, long ago, passed by Nigerians. And that should not be the basis for inviting the central bank government to come and explain. The currency had been, long issued.
I think the major problem is the withdrawal limits.
Now, I'll get to that point. Now, the withdrawal limit is just a policy that has just been pronounced, not yet implemented. So, if he's not in the country today, and is scheduled to be back maybe next week, the policy is yet to be enforced. He just made a pronouncement, or the policy, the bank just said, from this period of time to this period of time, this policy will be implemented. And the bank governor, the central governor, is not in the country. You can wait when he is back. You can come and explain.
But I'm
why
just
the policy
curious.
withdrawal. Even though I personally have said here that the withdrawal, the Senate had even said he should up the withdrawal limits. Why is the reps taking a different dimension? The reps cannot be more superior than the Senate. The Senate has said that they have endorsed the policy that you should increase the limits of the withdrawal. I have also said the same thing.
But on the same issue, on that issue of, before we go back to what we were saying, on that issue of superiority, I've heard it countless times, when the House, the chairman, the House of Representatives speaker, saying that between the two chambers, no one is superior to another. No one is inferior, no one that it is just the National Assembly that have two arms. But when you said it's not superior, so don't you think you're countering what he's saying? I
don't want to counter. I want to ask him, what is the age limit, the age you must attain before you become a senator? There's the age you must attain. There's the age you must attain before you go to the House of Reps. The age for House of Reps is 35. The age for senator is 40. So you can't just be
Does
a
it
senator.
matter?
Of course. That is the now you mentioned the issue of superiority now. I'm just using that age. For instance, someone who seniors you with 1 year, he's your senior. It's your superior. You look at it that way. That's one.
Okay,
Number two.
age-wise?
No, I hear you have mentioned the argument of the speaker,
No,
which I refuse to buy into.
When it comes
so I now give you one
when it comes
instance.
to the function,
No, I'm coming.
The function of the legislature at
Yes.
that level,
Yes.
it is a national assembly that has two wings. That is the argument.
I want to. That is why I said let me clarify. I don't want to buy into the argument of the speaker that they are of the same status. I don't want to buy into the argument, and I will explain my reason. I know where he's coming from, which I will soon get to that point. Now, first, I have given you the first qualification to be a senator. You must be 40 and above. That's it. So even if you are 35, 39, you are not qualified to be a senator. That's one. Number two, the senators are the ones that screened and confirmed national presidential nominees. The rest don't do that. That's the second one.
Because it is not in their purview to do
I know,
so.
yeah. That's one.
Not because they're inferior, but it is not
No,
just their job.
no, not inferior. I'm trying to explain to you that the things that, how do you now differentiate the two arms of government? One does things that these ones do not do. Now, when you look at the order of precedence, protocol, the Senate President is there before the Speaker of the House of Reps. So that is the point. Why is this one called President? Why is he called President of the Senate? Why this one is called Speaker? Now, even when you have a joint session, the Senate President becomes the chairman of the National Assembly. Get this?
Because there must be only one
chairman at a time. So the argument of the Speaker is right, because the same law that created the Senate created the House of Reps.
Okay.
But the functions differentiate which one is more superior than the other. But these two arms complement each other. One cannot work without the other.
Mm-hmm. That's the point.
If you must pass a bill, if one declines, the bill cannot pass.
That's where the thing is.
I agree with you, but I've told you now that in the area of differentiating the powers and the superior, the superiority of the Senate and the Reps, you can now say that number one, the Senate, for you to be a senator, you must be 40 years. Number two, for you to the Senate screen and clear and confirm nominees. Number three, the Senate President is the chairman of the National Assembly. Number four, in the order of protocol of the country, Senate President number three.
All right,
so
let's go back.
That explains who is superior.
Let's go back to the CBN policy. Are you curious about why the central bank governor decided to travel with the president at this time?
Not decided. You see, for the president to travel with him, it must have been scheduled. It's not an emergency. It's not just jump and follow. He did not choose to follow. The president will nominate. This meeting I'm going, I will have bilateral meetings with so persons, so companies, so government, and so agencies. I will need so person to go with me, and then the protocol team will arrange and schedule those that are traveling with Mr. President. So the president, so it wasn't that it was a plot to travel as to spite the National Assembly. No, it was scheduled to, and he has traveled with the president. And when he is back, whatever question that is needed to be answered, he will answer them. If you have to be in the country and is invited and he refused to attend, I would have said the Reps can issue a bench warrant and arrest him.
Okay. New Naira notes yet to circulate amid fear of counterfeiting. I thought the central bank governor had said the security features of the new notes, cannot be counterfeited.
Nigerians have the ingenuity of, creating things. They can just leap and just mold Mike Ebasi and bring you out. Only thing that you will not be talking as Mike Ebasi is talking. That is Nigerian for you. Nigeria, I give it to them. The time we used to have what is called made in Aba product. That is just, is same feature, same product of what you have in China or what you have in US that is brought here. Nigerians have that power to do it. And so the possibility of counterfeiting is there, no matter the security feature you put. That is why it is called fake. It may not be real, but it will be close to the original, close to the real one of it. So, of course, we are scared, and I pray that the security features that are put in the new Naira note will be such that even though you see the fake one, you can be able to identify them. Even currently, the current Naira note is still you still have fake. You still have fake. So
All right.
that's it.
What do you feel about the travels of the DG, the former DG, the immediate past DG, the embattled DG of Peter Obi campaign organization? He stepped aside yesterday and he cited personal travels as his reason for resigning. And a lot of people believe that, first and foremost, the conviction of the embattled former DG of Peter Obi campaign was a dent on the Labour Party, whose presidential candidate believes in a new Nigeria that is going to be devoid of corruption. So what do you feel about the whole thing?
I just feel what he did was right as an ex-convict. There is a limit to which an ex-convict can operate. Yeah, he is an ex-convict. There's a limit to which an ex-convict...
Even when he paid fines?
Of course, he has been convicted by the court. He paid fine. Doesn't mean that he's not an ex-convict. He has to go to appeal court to clear it, to quash the conviction. No, that's it. That's the law. The fine you paid is because he didn't want to go to prison. Yes, he will be in the prison. The fine was to excuse him from the prison, and then he can now have the right to appeal within 90 days to appeal the judgment and quash the conviction. Otherwise, he remains an ex-convict. So what he did was in line with the law, and there's a limit to which an ex-convict can operate within the Nigerian space. So that is what has affected him. So what he did was not to allow that conviction to dent the image. Imagine him coming to speak to me that when P.O.B. becomes governor, they will fight corruption with that stain on him. Imagine that. Imagine how Nigerians will see him. Even currently, we are discussing him because of the post he held in the Labour Party. So he's resigning. I think it's a good omen to the Labour Party. If he didn't resign, I would have asked that the Labour Party should suspend him or dismiss him from their campaign, because it's like a dent going around with them. So what he has done is in line with the law. Let him go and quash or get himself cleansed by the appeal court, and then if not, Supreme Court is also there to test the conviction.
Okay, so we go to the Leadership newspaper now. The Leadership newspaper has these: Nipsey snores as Nigeria loses more investment opportunities. Omar's Action Grounds Commission to a halt. Executive Secretary keeps mum over mounting allegations. 2023, FG counters no achievement claim by opposition. Flight delays cancellation loom over Jet A1 scarcity airlines. After conviction, Okupe quits as Obidate campaign DG. And about the mascot of the Leadership newspaper, I'll reopen all borders to boost economy. Atiku, Tinubu intervenes in Cross River APC crisis. Withdrawal limits, lawmakers refuse to shift ground. Bajabiabila meets PMB. We move from there to the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph has these headlines. The New Telegraph has these. The New Telegraph. We need 100,000 vehicles, 4,200 boats for 2023 polls. INEC to track workers' movements to forestall hijack. Campaigns denying opposition access to public places will breed violence, says ex-Buhari aide. NDDC board, Senate disregards protest, confirms on chair 12 members. 2023 presidential campaign, Tinubu sanitize Nigeria. Masari El-Rufai, Ganduje tell Northern Christians, God will use Obi to deliver Nigeria. Mbang. Emir of Katsina endorses Atiku, and Okupe steps down as Obi campaign DG. And of course, I think we should take Nigerian Tribune before we come back to Otueko. Nigerian Tribune has these ones. $2.4 billion revenue loss. Reps probe sale of crude oil from 2014 to unravel mystery behind alleged sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil to China in 2015. Give CBN governor 2 days to appear of a cash withdrawal limit. Buhari rep speakers discuss rising election violence, cash withdrawal limit. Don't destroy CBN with your selfish interest. Atiku and Okoa warns politicians. Atiku in Katsina pledges to address security, economic challenges. I'll end poverty in the country. Tinubu. No plan to scrap NYSC FG. And above the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune, Hajj 2022, Saudi Arabia refunds 107 million naira to Nigerian pilgrims for poor feeding. Ondo LG workers shut assembly over LG autonomy. FG to stop cash withdrawal from public accounts. Those are the headlines on those papers that we have brought your way. Let's take a look at the banner headline on the leadership newspaper here. I like the way the editor puts it. NIPSEI snores as Nigeria loses more investment opportunities. What was on the mind of this editor?
I wouldn't know, honestly speaking. I wouldn't actually speak on that. I wouldn't know.
Because he's saying Nigeria is, this agency is snoring. That is to say they didn't do anything about it.
I wouldn't speak on that. I don't know what he was trying to say. An editor is a gatekeeper, so whatever he decides can make a sell for his paper is what he couch and put at the headline.
Atiku Abubakar wants to reopen all borders to boost the economy. Nice idea.
Very fantastic idea, but how will you go about it? I would love to ask him how. The how is the question. You can have a good dream, but the how. You see, when you are outside the government, you see every opportunity. It's like one who goes to watch a football match, a spectator. I was watching the just concluded world football match in Qatar, and I saw people who watched from the screen. They almost scored the goals that were missed. So when you are watching from the outside or sit at the fence, you can see very many openings. But when you get into the office, things could be differently. Like I said before, I know Buhari used to talk about when he gets into office, he will do this, he will do that. But today, I think some years ago, he came out and said that the judiciary is the cock in the wheel of progress of his government. The other time he was accusing Saraki when Saraki was the Senate president, Saraki was the one that was opposing many of his programs. So you could see that you have the National Assembly to deal with, you have the judiciary to also deal with. So most of these things that you say you will do. It's because you are from outside. When you get in, you also have some obstacles that you are going to cross. Look at what is happening to Adeleke. He just go in there, he started making policies, and then they say, no, this one, you must go through the assembly, so you must go through the law, and so on. So you could see his hands, they will not cut him to size of being a governor, not being everywhere. So when you are outside, simply put, you will see every opportunity, what you will do. But when you get in, the windows could be that narrow. But you now need the ingenuity and the know-how.
So you have justified. So in essence, from this explanation,
I'm not justifying holding brief.
No, hold on.
For the failure of any government.
You have just justified some of the excuses that come from the stable of
that is why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking how. I said how will you achieve it? How? It's not about saying you will do this because you are from the outside. You are seeing it from the outsider perspective. But when you are insider, how will you achieve this? Atiku has been a vice president. He should be able to tell us when I am there, this is what I will do, because he had been there before. Peter Obi had been a governor of a state. He knows the hurdles as a governor. He should tell us, putting my experience as a governor, when I am a president, I will do this. Asibajo Abola Tinubu had been a governor. He should tell us, I was a governor, I was able to do this. This is my limit. When I'm president, I will do this. This is how. So? I want to hear the how. But what you are. How will you achieve it?
The argument is, if I open up on the how, it could be,
that is what I want to hear.
It can be stolen
let it be. See, one who steals one's dream doesn't. You only fake it. You only counterfeit it. You cannot give the real exact product of what you have stolen. So let it be stolen. Tell us how. How will you go about opening these borders for us to have these foreigners coming in? How? Because right now, the government has closed several borders. We are having issues. Government is tying it to insecurity, small arm proliferation into the country. When you become the president, you want to bring in how. We want to hear those hows.
But a lot of people believe that the shutting down of some of those borders actually was a good omen for the country, because you've mentioned a few proliferation of firearms, a lot of illegal activities were taking place, and of course, most importantly, we needed to develop our thing. We needed to plant our rice and cultivate it and eat it. bringing everything into the country was problematic for the country. So the borders needed to shut down so that it could curtail some, so that we can think from within and do something to sustain ourselves. Was that not a good idea?
No, I wouldn't want to agree that it was a good idea. I think it was a bad policy coming at the wrong timing. You see, you don't shut borders and say you don't want rice, foreign rice to come in, and you don't have your own rice grown, even the ones you have.
But it encouraged farmers here to start to plant, and they planted, and we've seen the results.
We are in festive period now. How much is a bag of rice? How much is a bag of rice?
But do we have rice in this country?
That's the question that you should be asking them. So you don't block, you don't close border, you don't want us to import, and you don't even have the product on ground. If farmers that are doing it, you don't even encourage them. Even if you want to encourage them, this security is not there. It's not allowing them to do the farming. So you do policy. You consider your own terrain. Consider your timing. The timing we are is such that we are in a critical moment. You are talking about firearms, importation and the rest from the borders. What is the duty of those people who are there? Security agency. You have the custom, the immigration and the rest. What are they doing at the border? We have those border guard. What are they doing? So it means that someone is not doing his job. And you have those people appointed that are paid from taxpayers' monies, and they're not doing their job. Why don't fire them and then get ones who will do the job to be there? So making a policy in a time that we are suffering. Right now, a bag of Gary has become an expensive commodity, which everybody plants cassava in your doorstep. And because of this security we have, the farmer header clashes. You see what is happening in the east today. The southeast is becoming, like a no-go area, a battleground. Zamfara State is like, call it, where terror, reigns supreme, and battling with the soldiers and the rest. It's coming down to the east. So what are we saying? How then will you encourage farmers to go out there and farm? You have onions, tomato, pepper being imported from the north to the south, but that insecurity, we want them to have enough to eat, not talk of to bring them to the east. Now, to the east. Now you have insecurity in the east. What they produce there can also be imported because it won't be enough for them to eat. That is what I'm saying. So you don't make policies. You are currently battling with a war. You are having a war at hand. You don't need to shut out every border and then let us eat what we have. When what we have is not enough because of the war that we are having.
INEC needs 100,000 vehicles, 4,200 votes for the election.
You see, INEC should not give excuse for not being able to perform. This demand, 2 months to election, I smell a rat. My people say when you see a child begin to cry and be pointing hand like this, what is beating the child could be hiding somewhere there. What INEC is trying to do is to give us a reason why tomorrow if he fails, he will say, I wanted this number of vehicles.
Was there no budgetary
Why didn't they make this alarm, raise alarm? Because now they are raising alarm now.
Do you think it is an alarm? They are just telling you.
Why are you saying in 2 months to election?
But then they have to tell Nigerians.
So that if they fail, they will say, I told you. That's the point I'm saying.
So the budget that is currently running INEC office should be able to capture these, or they need extra help?
INEC had opportunity. INEC had all it takes. INEC had been given all the support from Nigerians, from the government, to be able to get all what they needed to get. So if INEC said they need 1,000 or 2,000 vehicles, the budget was captured. They should get it. They should procure it and get it. My point is, INEC should not give us reasons for failure. I pray INEC must not fail because this country, the country's success, the country's unity, the country's our hope rests on one institution, which is the INEC. So INEC must behave herself because the time is too critical for them to be demanding for vehicles. We have 2 months to elections.
Now, NDDC has a board. Senate confirmed Loretta Noche as the MD.
I did not agree on her appointment.
Why?
But I have no options because Mr. President.
Were you part of the people who protested? Because the headline here says NDDC board Senate disregards protest.
Yes. When she was appointed the National INEC Commissioner, I was among those who
appointed or nominated.
Nominated and sent to the Senate. I was among those who asked Senate not to confirm her appointment because she displayed partisanship. She came out openly and she is like a combative aide of Mr. President. Now, having a combative aide of Mr. President in an interventionist agency like NDDC, what do you expect to achieve? I'm not saying she's going to carry that attitude to the NDDC. But I'm saying that I do not see her as fit. NDDC has come a time where we need those who are technocrats. NDDC is suffering because of politicians like her, who have been there, who put all her political activities, take that place, making it become a political, premises. I wanted somebody that
But does that take away
a diplomat
does
to be there?
Does that take away from her the fact that she is a Niger Deltan who is qualified to hold such positions and who comes from an oil-bearing community?
You see, it doesn't take away the fact that she's from an oil-bearing community and she is qualified by her, birth from where she is from. But I'm looking at what the agency is set out to do. It's not supposed to be a political tool where you compensate political office holders. You just feel someone is due for compensation. You say, okay, let me compensate you by giving you that appointment. No, that is why we're suffering today in this region. I am from one of the crude oil bearing communities. It is attitude of people who have been there that has kept my community the way it has been till today. Have you been to Ogoni, where we talk about oil, the cleanup exercise? It is attitude of people who have manned NDDC that have made the place to remain the way it is till today. There's no single thing you can point out as development in the whole oil producing communities. I was among those who fought for NDDC establishment in 2000. I've said this over and over. We were led by late Chief Harold Dapabriye and Chief Edwin Clark. We made several advocacies calling for Umpale to be scrapped or repealed. Let us now have NDDC. Now, having had NDDC, what can I say has been the dividend of NDDC than those who want to be compensated to push you to go there and stay? Go to NDDC office in Uyo. You will see any tangible. In fact, they are even staying in a very colloquial building. Let me say so. No concrete achievement. Go to the UTH in Uyo. They have a maternity ward that the NDC commission initiated and built and left uncompleted. You have such kind of activities across the length and breadth of Akwa Ibom State, where I'm from. Go to the East-West Road. Can you drive from River State to Akwa Ibom? You cannot. Even the Calabar-Itu East-West Road that has been in the program, by today anything would have taken it up and completed it. But because of the politicking, because of the way the competition is being run, it has remained a tool to compensate those who deserve compensations. So for me, I was among those who opposed her nomination because, for one, she is a core politician in the commission. And we need someone who is a technocrat, who has the expertise, who can think beyond politics and bring development to the areas that are supposed to benefit from that commission.
Okay, but she has been...
that is why I told you that I have no option, because the president can appoint and can fire. But the truth is that let her not allow her political affiliations, her political cloud, to becloud her conscience and her activities. She should now see herself as one that has entered into a commission that ought to intervene and bring development to the areas that ought to benefit from it.
Okay, in just 1 minute, the president, Muhammadu Buhari, our president, says, and I quote, "I look forward to returning to Daura in 5 months."
I cannot wait.
Does it sound tired?
5 months is even too much for me. I cannot even wait. I wish he would just tell me I'm going to leave the scene.
Why?
I just wish. This 5 months for me is like 5 years. Honestly, I drove from my house where I'm living, a busy road. I used to leave my house like, I'm coming to your program 8 o'clock. I will leave my house like 7:30 and I will be stuck at traffic. 30-minute time, I can't reach here. Meanwhile, if on a normal drive, 10 minutes I should be here. But today I left my house 7:50 and I used 5 minutes to reach the studio. Do you know why? Because of cost or scarcity of petrol. The road is free. I was driving like I was flying on air. Like there was no traffic. Because of people, and this is festive period where people want to return to from where you are, you return to your state to celebrate the Christmas. But because of scarcity of fuel, the cars are parked in there. People prefer to trek. No wonder people trek to go and receive him when he was elected as president. It's now, you can now see the reason. So 5 months for me is too much.
Song, State Chairman, Civil Liberties Organization, Akwa Ibom State. Thank you very much for having been here.
Thank you.
Next Wednesday is another day.
All right.
All right, so thank you very